Welcome back. Week 18 of From the Ground Up, where I'm trying to reseed the infrastructure of food production across the UK and hopefully one day the world to make it more sustainable, more secure, and just better for everyone. To do that, we're running 3 different projects. Number 1 is a small farm here in Essex, Australian no-line cattle and a flock of chickens, with the goal to try and build up a community of small producers in the local area over the course of the next year or so. Number 2, I'm trying to develop a social media presence to try and bring together like-minded people and just share the challenges that myself and others are experiencing and try and find common ground and solutions within it. And number 3, I'm building a platform to try and solve those problems actively, to bring together cohesion, collaboration and coordination amongst small producers to decentralise production and centralise supply. What we do here every week is just to wrap up what I've achieved in each of those spaces each week, and I talk you through what we've been up to, what's working, what's not working, and how we're getting on. Right, farming this week has been predominantly fencing. I've done a lot of fencing, clearing fencing. With the neighbours are putting up post and rail fencing. If anyone's not familiar with post and rail, the main difference between that and everything else is it's just all wood, and they're putting in 1 kilometre of it, and it is expensive. So you don't often see it. Often reserved for paddocks for horses, not usually used for livestock, mainly because it's not as strong as it looks, especially for cattle who like to rub against it. So I've spent a lot of the week fencing it. So I put a lot of stock fencing around it, so that's on the other side of the post and rail. And then I need to go around next week and put some electric tape up. But we have found some more grass for the steers. They went out today actually onto the most beautiful paddock I've ever put cattle into. So much so that I've got to be careful that they don't get staggers without magnesium, because cattle who eat too much grass too quickly get staggers. So they've gone out there this morning. We're in May now, and I was promised rain by the Met Office in May, and we've still not got any rain. So much so there's not even any forecast rain until next Sunday. And today is Sunday, so that is a week. And now we are starting to seriously look in trouble, because there isn't enough grass, or there isn't enough. Like, there's potentially enough grass, but there won't be enough grass if we don't get some rain. So I've got a paddock growing at the bottom, which stopped growing because there isn't any grass, isn't any rain. And we've got paddocks around the village, all of which have stopped growing. And so I don't know what the solution is. There's no hay available, because last year was a drought through the summer and no hay got made. And there'll be no early hay this year because there's been no rain. So I think we'll start to see more of this across the media in general, because it's not going to be long before some of the wider spread arable crops are going to start getting impacted. This is one of the big challenges about sustainable or local food, is that, in local climates you will get impacts like this, and this will happen particularly more and more as climate change becomes more and more extreme, and we see more and more extreme weathers. So we are going to see localized extreme weathers. So for me, sustainable and local aren't necessarily not synonymous. For me, local is a priority. You should be, there's a whole host, mostly ecological, but environmental, cultural, societal benefits to local production of food. However, it is part of a much bigger food security network, and that remains to be seen exactly what that looks like. But extreme globalization or extreme localization is not the answer. There is a middle ground where we are able to spread food around the world, growing it where it best grows. But that being said, it doesn't help me right now. Shout out to Julian, who is pretty much single-handedly keeping us in feed at the moment. He's got leftover hay from last year from bales that his horses won't eat, but the cows are very gratefully eating. But we've only got a dozen of those left, and then we're out. So we'll get through 2 a day. So that is a month, and then we're done. And then we need to really consider what we're going to do next. Because if we don't get any rain in that month, we'll have to consider what we do. Because the cost of feeding those cattle, which will be grain and hay, hay is £10 a miniature bale. Julian was saying today it's 120 quid for the bigger bales. It used to be £4 a bale for the small ones, to give you sort of context. Now it's £10. It used to be, well, it used to be £2.50, but that's a long time ago. But now, yeah, I'd expect to pay £3, £4 a bale for that. But yeah, and 22 cows eating grain or hay. It's just, we're not going to financially be able to support that. So we'll have to look at selling the herd, butchering the herd, whatever we need to do, which is not how I want to start this. Chickens are doing well. They're all free ranging. I managed to move them all this week as well. We tried We tried something in Come Collect Eggs with me, trying to reduce L1 eating their eggs, and we gave them a load of eggshells, basically to reduce the intrigue of eggs in general. And actually, it seems to have been working. Concept being, if you only give them eggshells, and in those eggshells there's never any yolk, then they just slowly lose interest in those eggs, which definitely we've seen. I lost 20 eggs this time last week, and then just collected eggs this afternoon, and I only had 3 eaten, which is phenomenal. So that's really working. And I can't for the life of me remember what else I've been up to this week. Predominantly fencing to bale. We picked up a new sled for the baler, which time will tell if we get any hay this year to actually use. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Let's jump into TikTok. So still doing Come Collect Eggs with me videos every day to a mixed response. This is actually the first time I've looked at this, so it'll be interesting to see. So last 7 days since I last saw you, 40,000 views, 158 comments, 99 shares. So in general down, although we got a few more views than we did last week, which is good. Estimated reward £7.30. As we talked about before, I used to on average aim for about £10 a video, and that's £7.30 for the whole week. So the TikTok algorithm monetary rewards has just changed. I think it's pivoted mostly to the shop. I'm not interested in using the shop. I might try and use it to sell certain eggs or whatever, but I'm not going to peddle crap to try and then win TikTok's approval. I've also seen that they've also stripped out all of the URLs, all the links in the profile now, so you can only link a website. You can't so for example, my YouTube link has disappeared, which I think has something to do with the reasons why. If we go to YouTube, hey, who's that handsome chap? I don't actually know if I'm going to be able to see the full. I'm going to have to log in on me other one. YouTube. What? Why can't I look at analytics? As you can see, still don't understand how this all works. Manage videos. Popular, customized channel. Maybe it's YouTube Studios or something. YouTube dashboard, YouTube Studio. Here you are. This is the one. Analytics. I got 944 views in the last 28 days. Yeah, so you see, 1,066 subscribers. And I think the last time we talked about this was like maybe 1,064 or something. So TikTok taking the link out of bio has really impacted that. So shout out to those people who are here. Where was I? Anyway, back to TikTok. Let's looking through the videos of the week. Nearly hit 10k. I didn't even see that one. Nearly hit 10k on what was that? Thursday. In general, pretty slow. Lowest down here at 4,300. Still pretty good likes, comments. Yeah, I think let's aim for over 50. I haven't achieved that on a single day this week. Let's go over to the shop. If we go for the last 7 days. last 7 days, I'll include today. We made £28 on the shop, which for the same period, let's do the last 14 days, so the last 2 weeks, we made £206. So yeah, 160 quid, 170 quid even, 170 quid the week before. So all in all, it's slowed down. The quitter in me desperately wants to just stop the come collect eggs with me. I'm not sure if it's worth the effort at the moment. But at the same time, it's just those handful of people that do enjoy it, who seem to enjoy the regularity of it, who turn up for it, that I can do this for. But it does take a lot. Like producing videos every day to not very many people. And I'm very lucky, right? Like, I don't know what I did and how I lucked out to begin with and got a few followers, and I still get a few thousand views on videos. I see similar people who are doing similar things, working as hard, if not harder than me, and they're still stuck in, that 200-300 view jail. So I'm very blessed. Every time I get, all of this, I'm very lucky. And I'm not too disheartened, because I know that there is a next chapter where we get to start playing around with the platform, and I want to do videos where we can build companies and produce content that's like brain rot, but like positive brain rot. Because brain rot is not necessarily a bad thing. People go on their phones to sometimes switch off the reality that is the world. And so we need just cheap and easy videos. But I want it to be like really positive, and I want to have a positive impact. I want to inspire people to do some cool stuff. And we have got really cool people that do that. Currently, the platform, the social medias aren't going anywhere. It is a lot of work, I will say. And the last week or so, just definitely creeping in. That's just like, well, what's the point? But I do remind myself it's for those people that do care. For example, Stephen from Weberg, the farm, that was one person that I found. I need to go back to Instagram, because Instagram seems to have, I had more leads on Instagram of like genuine progression than I do on TikTok. TikTok's very much more of a casual viewer, not exclusively, but seems to be. I also need to create short form content, like actual short form content, which I hate, but we'll need to get better at. Let's move on to Yosis then. Weberg go live on the 10th of May. Well, 9th to 10th of May, next weekend. And I think we're pretty much there. The system seems pretty robust at this point. It's feeling more and more robust. And the guys over in Weberg seem to be happy with it. And it's really enjoyable working with them. And I'm incredibly blessed to have come across them, because they're very laid back in their approach. However, they're very clear in what they want and what they need. And that combination is very rare. So I'm very fortunate from that point of view. After we go live, I'm going to share a link in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, please join the Discord. I'm going to share a link to a Zoom, Teams, Google Meet, where we'll do a first demo. Thank you to everybody who gave me feedback on my logo. Uh-oh, I haven't paid Adobe. Awkward. Are you going to let me do anything without paying you? Let's move you out there. Let's move that problem away. You aren't going to let me do anything without paying you, are you? You son of a bitch. Huh. Maybe? Yeah, cool. Thank you to everybody who gave me feedback on Yoast, the last logo. Basically said it looked like female genitalia, which I think was a fair feedback. If anyone's wanted to know what it looked like, it was one of these, which just glances looks like a womb or a woman's thighs or whatever. So we moved away from that. We've moved the Y in general, and some of the feedback I got, the Y in general is just quite a hard letter to match. However, and perhaps my obsession with grass at the moment hasn't helped me create a logo that is objective. But when grass is ready to graze, it has 3 leaves. And so I thought, well, what's a perfect opportunity? What about incorporating that and the idea that, the whole point is develop growth and collaboration between between companies, between resources. So what about taking that in? I tried 3. It looked a bit wonky. Eventually came up with this in Illustrator. Very happy with it, to be honest with you. I got AI, got ChatGPT to develop a bit of a mood board. It came up with these colour schemes, which I'm big fan of. I like the hot pink. I don't know. I sort of straddled 2 worlds with Yosis. One's like an agricultural, agri-tech, and sustainability, etc., and one is just software. And trying to straddle that is difficult. So I've got these 3, which I'm going to sort of use that to do. And depending on where people see these, as to which one they'll see. But yeah, I think I'm pretty settled on this. Any feedback on these, very much welcome. Thank you to, like I say, to those who've given me feedback on the last one. I'm not going to spend too much time on my logo, but if anyone's got any strong feelings or critiques, please drop me a message. I'm absolutely shattered. I've had a mate here for the weekend, and we've worked non-stop all weekend. That's the whole. I've completely forgotten about that. I got chicks hatching on Tuesday, of which we have got 422 chicks in the incubator, and only 30 of them have come out infertile, which means we've got 400, well, just shy of 400 eggs in the incubator, which is exciting. I'm hopeful we're going to have a good hatch rate. At the same time, I'm completely unprepared for 400 chicks. So we shall see how that turns out on Tuesday. But yeah, it's been a busy weekend. Also muck spread the winter bedding from L1 and L2, which went well. It went down pretty thick. It needs to be rained on. It's not going to get rained on, but it's better across the field than it was in a big pile, I think. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it just needed to stay in a pile until it was going to rain. It's done now. It's done now. And yeah, and then we moved the cows. So yeah, it's been a busy weekend. I'm ready for bed. It is 9:20. I've got to edit this up, so wish me luck. I shall see you on the next one.